can't just show your badge and go through the front entrance. You have to stand in line and get a wristband. And then anybody with you has to do the same. So there's a lot of more hoops, and they do a lot more testing, barn area, pre and post testing, random testing, all kinds of stuff like that, soundness testing. So it's, anyway, Kentucky people.
Yeah. They definitely have a big dogs, aren't they?
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes over the next year or two. Be interesting to see this Thunder Plains place in Cheyenne. They say it's something else.
Well, and they just opened something similar to what they're building here, the Gateway place, they opened one of those in Cheyenne.
Yes, and that one, I guess, has gone over so well that that's why they expanded this one, to make it bigger than they had originally planned. Yeah. I saw an actual advertisement for that on television over the weekend, if you can believe it. I was like, Mom, that just said Evanston, Wyoming. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe they got on the TV.
They're throwing some money at it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How does your spring his computer? Or is he just going to use the document? Doesn't start at 6, right? Are you gonna be using your laptop or just go over that?
Maybe over one page.
Okay.
I only was able to print 11. We didn't have. That's right. We didn't have 12 covers.
Well, I will take however many and then,
I can get you another one when we get more covers.
so where are you going tonight?
Sweetwater.
Get home at 9:30? Or later?
I actually get a Zoom in Sweetwater this
Oh.
year, so I don't have to drive over. I'm good. How are you doing? Good.
How
How are you, Sherry?
Yes, and just down there, those cupboards, just on the left, there's a little fridge. You just open that door.
Click, keep going, yeah.
These ones? Now I know all the secrets.
No, you do. You're set. Andy will turn it here, though.
I would stray from that one.
Okay.
Just the bottom one, not the top.
That's perfect.
You know, I talked to Sweetwater, and I guess they've been flying to their board meetings. So he's like, even if you start the first thing, I don't need to take a picture of them. That's what they do.
That's changed.
What is Mac proxy? So I saw something where like, there were different towns that were. So like, it's worth it. I just don't know what that is.
A whole other house.
Oh, really?
That's fine. That VPN configurations.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's not my area of understanding by any stretch. No, thank you. I'm perfectly happy being ignorant and smart than I am. Yes, and this is Jeff may be sitting next to you. I just need him to do that, make sure he's okay with that. It's after they've been hired, so it's not a condition of employment. So we shouldn't have too much. Yeah, they're just indicating. Because this is information for us, our employees, right, our substitute situation. I've done a very poor job of sending out the surveys and all these times, so they focus on that. Who are all the people that sent out this year? For you need my lists. You need my lists. This should have everything. People who have taken class through the summer. Some of them, you want representatives. Yeah, representatives. I'm not. I'm about as disconnected from institutions. I mean, I have a LinkedIn page. People say, hey, how about that? How about that? But, I know it's other email about it. I don't know if they're just doing that in mass, into some database.
I don't ever accept any, I mean, if it's someone I hear so far.
I don't know why, so I just thinking about it. First, did you get my email? I guess you can pull it off of the website. So today's, yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I haven't updated my LinkedIn for
I'm not watching any college. Oh, really? It is, I watched it.
Yeah.
But now it's almost the opposite.
Yeah, it is limited. Right.
It's just different.
Right. Yeah, it was certainly different.
The situation that Larry had. And so I look and I think, it's as good as it is. The whole thing is, it's so out of hand. Somebody, there's a guy who's just out there. The NCAA can get their hands around this. They need to do the following. It's already built in. These rule changes you really make a difference. But they will not do it.
It's going to be about football next year. Because it's just, it's not sustainable. Really good example of a kid that got $5 million to Washington, to be a coach at the University of Washington. God, that's it. And his attorney said, yes,
With this team, you're going to be here at least for a year.
So, there's, if they do a salary, he's going to take down his miles, so I figured he'd do a little contracts, right? He's got a 6-hour drive. Exactly. Is he going to do this? And there's a maximum amount that includes that. Is that insurance done with price of a player, and they figure out this much money, but you're still in our account.
That was the first thing that he said. You've got a cap, right? Because you've got these alumni accounts. Pay out, scratch the surface of what they have available. Texas Tech spent $30 million on this year's last year, Ohio State. They were. I'm not too worried about it. Yeah. No, they're all just. Oh, yeah, that's what they had. That's what they had. All the reasons why we want to do that. But it's actually.
On a side note, you've got a schedule. That's my word. Yeah.
There's a basket.
I got that.
What's your name? Lane. This is Trevor's. Okay.
This is Trevor's.
Maybe it's called
Laney.
You're the body president, huh?
Not the student body president, the student body secretary.
Secretary.
Our president or vice president could be.
There you go. Oh, welcome.
I guess the 4-day school week's not coming today.
Say again?
I guess the 4-day school week group's not coming today.
Uh-oh, that's what my door stuck.
Dominic Stewart.
I always go to here.
And then go to Cindy or the. Yeah, and then it goes to meetings.
Gilly.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your position on the student council?
The student body secretary.
If she gets it, change seats.
Sometimes I walk around that shop and I just kind of look around and I go,
Why am I here? I don't know.
I didn't come here to just pick up that piece of garbage. I know, there's something else.
Alrighty, it is 6:04. I'd like to welcome everybody that is here or who might be on Zoom. And I will call this meeting to order. And we will now do the Pledge of Allegiance, if you will join me. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will now need a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt tonight's agenda.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second? Did you get Brian? Second? Okay. Any discussion? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We've adopted the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the consent agenda items. A, minutes approval. B, payment of bills. C, official newspaper approval. D, depositories for district funds. And E, sped-related service contracts.
Motion to approve.
Brian? Jenny?
Jenny? I have a motion.
Brian?
Oh, Brian, and then a second there. Okay, didn't hear you, sorry. Any discussion? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, we will now move on to presentations. Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Peterson, if I may, I would like to introduce Laney Guild, our student representative.
Roblox is primarily used
That's not her. So Laney, will you take
Welcome
a
to
second?
your
just,
Chromebook.
Introduce yourself, tell us kind of where you, what you're doing in school, why you're here, and
Do you want me to speak English?
you're okay.
Okay. I'm Lainey Gills. I'm the student body secretary. Our president couldn't be here tonight. He's at a basketball game, so that's why I'm stepping in. There isn't really anything in particular going on right now at the school that I feel we need to
Okay.
address.
So Laney, you're welcome to comment on any of the things we discussed. Some of the stuff are not as interesting as others, but feel free to voice your opinion at any time. And hopefully these guys will remember you're here and ask you the tough questions. They won't. And we'll help. So I think with that, I'll introduce, come on up, our auditors, and we'll have our audit presentation.
When he said some's not as interesting as other parts, this is the not interesting. It was implied. My name is Mike Burton. I'm here representing Decory & Company, the independent auditing firm. I believe you guys had the financials in the board packet over the weekend, so real quick, did anyone have any questions in regard to the financial statements before I go? Perfect. We're going to go to page 68, which is the third to last page. I'm going to go quickly because I've got another one to get to tonight, so I know everyone's sad about that, but so page 68 is the summary page, and really this just explains everything. So the first portion is in regards to the financial statements. We expressed an unmodified audit opinion. That's the best opinion that you guys can receive. In regards to internal controls, we didn't identify any material weaknesses. We did identify one significant deficiency, and there wasn't any non-compliance material to the financial statements. The non-compliance, some of the things we look at is budgetary compliance, making sure that all your cash is insured either by FDIC or other means, those types of items there. In regards to the federal awards, this is a single audit. This is the audit that we give just in regards to federal expenditures. We expressed an unmodified opinion. There was no material weaknesses identified over internal controls and no significant deficiencies as well. So no audit findings that needed to be disclosed. The major program that was audited in regards to federal awards this year was Title 1A. And everything that we looked over, everything looked great in regards to that. Compliance, documentation approval, everything that way, so looked great. The dollar threshold this year is $750,000, next year it'll be $1 million. Doesn't really make any difference for your school district, and you guys did qualify as a low-risk auditee because you haven't had any findings in the past, and you're audited every year. So that's that. In regards to the finding, it's the lack of segregation of duties. Obviously, we've talked about that in the past. Does anyone have any questions in regards to that finding?
I have a question. We're a little better staffed than we have been. I know that will change when we get to retirement. Are we getting closer?
The biggest thing was John wouldn't be able to do any journal entries. That's because there's no one really reviewing John's journal entries.
Okay.
I think you guys have mitigated it very well.
Okay.
And for what you do have, I think you're in the best position that you can be when we do look at controls. Realistically, you'd have to have someone reviewing everything that John did or John reviewing everything that someone else did.
Okay.
That would be the difficult part there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. That's really it. The audit went really well. John and staff, great to work with. Joe was fantastic to work with this year as well. I mean, always is. Anything that could be a potential audit concern is always brought to us even before the audit. During the year, we're made aware of everything, which is fantastic. There's no surprises whenever we come and show up. It's always great being able to do the audit, and we have nothing that really we think needs to be brought to the board. So any questions for me?
No, thank you.
Good,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Must be doing something right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
I know him, so that's why I'm saying it.
We will now move on to our school reports, Mr. Thomas.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, I've invited Mr. Rigby to spend a little bit of time and talk about our recent report that we received from WDE. I think we're used to these reports, but it's something that we shouldn't be used to. It's something that we should celebrate. So anyway, I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. Rigby.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Chairman Peterson, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity. This is as much a brag session as anything that we get to do. And so this is just, it's district accreditation. I'm going to give you just the 30,000-foot overview. Several years ago, the Wyoming legislature said, why are we paying to have an independent person come in, or an independent organization, in this case North Central Accreditation, do the accreditation for our schools, because we already have that in state statute. And so they switched over, and the WDE does all 48 school districts. They do the accreditation. So it's done through the Wyoming Department of Education. They have a department for accreditation. Every year they go through, there's 24 criteria that they look at. And so every year by November 1st, before we get to that point, Dr. Springer, I will go to him. I usually go in and review, and then I'll ask him to go through and make sure all of our links are still working, and if there's anything that we need to update. And he goes through it and looks at it, and then basically we send a spreadsheet that has the links to all of our evidence. And so we do that every year, and that's how we get accredited. Every 5 years, there's what's called an on-site peer review of your district assessment system. So typically what that looks like, went the wrong way, sorry. Well, let me first show you, so trust but verify. So anybody out there, right, anything that I say tonight, if you want to verify it, here's where you go. On our district website, if you look under the district tab, under accreditation artifacts, if you click that, you'll get this long list of the 24 criteria. All right, so the one I'm going to show you is, if you were to click on district assessment system, which is number 10, this is the page that would show up. And I want to be very clear, everything that I'm going to share with you tonight is in that report, which is actually posted on the district website. So you can read the report in its entirety if you're so inclined. So let me just talk a little bit about a district assessment, the peer review, right? The every 5-year peer review. You usually have 3 or 4 school employees, right? They can be teachers, admin, district level, from different schools. They will come to your district, and then they meet with the principals, and it's this big, intrusive type activity where they go to the principal and say, show me your evidence for this, show me your evidence for that, right? The cool thing, because we are part of the High Reliability Schools network, all I had to do, I asked our principals, send me the information that you sent for your last certification. They sent it to me in files. I put it all in one folder, sent it to the accreditation team at the WDE. We didn't have to do the 3-day on-site review. They scheduled 3 hours to come in and visit with us. Doc, how long did they actually talk to us?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, right? Because all of our stuff is there. Everything that we're asked to do for accreditation, our schools are doing through the HRS continual improvement process. So they basically had everything that they needed. And so what did they say? So here are the 6 criteria that are part of that every 5-year on-site review. And I'm just going to go through. I had to do a little bit of cut and paste because some of them were fairly long. This is my favorite. Assessment culture is the first criteria. I love what they said, and you guys should be proud of this. UINTA 1 doesn't just grade students. They use assessment data to run the entire educational system for maximum student and program effectiveness. It's a well-oiled machine where the report card is less a final score and more of a blueprint for the future. right? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
All right, let's just stop there. No. The other 5 aren't that cool, but they're pretty close, right? So I just underlined some of these. So alignment to standards. We have a systematic standards-based framework centered on the principles of HRS and PLCs. What does that mean? It means that our teacher-led PLCs are collaboratively developing and implementing the scales and the learning targets and all of that stuff to measure student mastery and design targeted interventions. The cool part, our teachers and our teacher teams are making those decisions and doing that work. It's not Doug, I guarantee you, okay? Where's our, right? You guys, you do not want me writing the auto curriculum, okay? I guarantee you Casey does not want that, right? Who's best served to do that? Our auto teacher, right? They're the experts. And so that's what this confirms, is that our teachers are doing that important work of developing our curriculum, implementing that curriculum, and using those assessments to make important decisions about our kids. Third one, measure of student performance. Comprehensive student performance system directly aligned to the Wyoming state standards, right? What does that tell us? That means that we're doing our job. Wyoming state statute says we have to teach the Wyoming content performance standards. This confirms that's what we do, right? And then what I love, right, this is a K-5 thing, when they look at CKLA and they look at M-Class, an impressive target of 98% end-of-year proficiency on literacy skills. You guys should take a lot of pride in that, right? That when we're talking about our K-3 literacy, right, our goal is 98%. That's cool. I'll just tell you, I work with a lot of schools. If they had 50%, they'd be dancing in the streets. Okay? All right, 4th target is assessment opportunities. Systems designed around providing varied assessments and targeted support with the intent of success for all students. That's our mission, right? That's our vision statement. That's our mission, is to provide the best education we can for all students. We didn't tell them that. They confirmed that through the work that those folks behind me all put together, right, as part of their HRS certification documentation. 5, cognitive complexity. Ensure the level of thinking required in local assessment. So this is work that we're doing now, right? As the assessment changes, one of the things that we're looking at particularly is around depth of knowledge. What's the cognitive demand that our external assessments are asking of our students, and how are we aligning that to our common assessments, to the work that we're doing in our classroom? So instruction and assessment. Are we preparing kids for the rigor of the external assessments like the ACT, White-Top that they're going to face? NAEP, right, is a very rigorous assessment. So these are all just affirmations of the cool things that the people behind me are doing every day. Last one, data review. Employs a rigorous systemic approach to data, both the review, monitoring, and improvement, which serves as the foundation for instructional decisions and goal setting across the district. You guys see that in the pathway of excellence, our school goals, right? Our people have come up here and talked to you about their school goals. That's all based on data. Where are we now? Where do we want to get to? So, last thing I want to tell you, right? It's about our teachers, right? They're the superheroes. They're the ones that are doing the day-to-day work. And the district assessment system, all of that stuff that I just shared with you is the work that they're doing in their schools.
Must be
Okay? Yes, it is. All right. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
I know, that's really nice, thank you.
Would you like to say that again? You did
Which
well.
part? Which part?
You did
got it.
well. You did well.
I
I'm
got
just
it.
teasing you. You did well.
All right, awesome. Thank you,
Doug, I
guys.
have a question.
Yeah.
The measure of student performance. So we have the impressive target of 98% year-end proficiency on literacy skills. That's the target. So
Yep.
what are we at, or how close are we?
Depends on the grade. Kindergarten, you're going to be at 98%. First grade's going to drop just a little bit according to our beginning of the year assessment that we just did with M-Class. They're going to be closer to about 88%. Second grade is going to be right about 85%. Third grade, it drops a little bit, but so too does the expectation measurement through that assessment. Yeah, kindergarten, if we're below 98% in any of those classrooms and their readiness for first grade, they're extremely disappointed.
Good question.
Yeah. Anything else I can't answer? Okay, thank you guys, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Peterson, if I may, one more kind of a school report, even though it's not. Just like to recognize Horizon. Principal Payne notified me this week that Horizon has just been certified level 3 in HRS. So now all of our schools, K-12, are certified level 3, and of course our elementaries are certified level 4. So hats off, again, showing great work.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Williams.
I think it does pay off when you talk about these state assessment systems. We're doing work that's the right work at the right time. So
That right there, that's all you gotta
Congratulations.
worry about. All right, thank you. We will now move on to our discussion items. Mr. Thomas.
John, why don't you come sit by me down here? Just
Must be in the front row.
some important information. John and I and Chairman Peterson met in Kemmer last week, and we met with 8 of our representatives, state representatives, and most of the superintendents from the Southwest school districts. We had a 2.5-hour meeting that talked about recalibration. And John just provided you a document that we provided these legislators at the time. So I'm going to give you a real quick kind of what occurred and what this document does. Recalibration is a process that's been in place since 2006. They've recalibrated every 5 years since 2006, so 2010. In 2017, they did a mid-recalibration, so they did an extra recalibration. So they're right in the middle of the process. By law, they have to recalibrate every 5 years because of the Campbell cases that we were a part of. We sued the state back in '93, and it resulted in the Campbell cases. And so they're in the process of recalibration. The purpose of recalibration is to look at the state's funding formula and to make sure it is cost-based. Well, unfortunately, they have not approved a recalibration event since 2010. So they do the work and they can't get it approved. They have consultants that are a part of the process, and the consultants have met periodically throughout the state doing these professional judgment panels. We had one here, and then they make a recommendation to the legislature. The legislature either takes that recommendation and adds to it or takes it away. This is a compilation for the first time this early of how this impacts our district financially. John and a team of other CFOs throughout the state were able to crack the 100 model, and were able to input this information and find out how it impacts our funding. And this recalibration impacts us drastically. So I'm going to go through this so you guys can read it on your own, but first of all, the first section is a review of the Campbell cases, the lawsuit, and why we do what we do by law. The second one is a summary of what the recalibration members have suggested to add to the recalibration effort. So simply, Picus and Auden are the consultants. They came up with a model and said, this is your model. Then the members of the committee added to it. And so you can see that each of the committee members added something. We were able, John was able, to take what they've added and come to a dollar value. And we were able, last week, to talk to our representatives about how that impacts school districts in Southwest Wyoming. And it is impactful. Our hope was through suing the state and the ruling that we had, they would look at salaries and other components and make a significant effort to improve teacher salaries. They have made an effort to improve teacher salaries, but at other expenses. So section 2 is what each of the representatives or senators have suggested to add to the model. Section 3 looks at each of the things that they've added. There's 13 components to this recalibration. And John was able to find a dollar value. So when you go through section 3 and it talks about adjusted ADM, you'll be able to see how that will impact us, positive or negative. And I could spend more time on each of these factors because some help us, some hurt us. but it's very clearly written, so as you go through this, you can understand what they're talking about. If you get to section 4, it talks about kind of the overall impact with what happens to salaries and links it to what's happening in other states. Yes, John?
At the bottom, page 7, at the bottom of the section of the top of the page, that gives you the, put everything together. And so if you want to look at, if you want to discuss this with a legislator or somebody, this is what the recalibration with the legislative suggestions cost us on those elements. So it's not what Picus and Auden are suggesting. It's what the legislature, they take Picus and Auden and then they say, and we want you to do this and this and this. So that's a good one.
And that's a good point. So if you're looking on page 7 at that chart, you can see that there are certain things that help us, and there's certain things that hurt us. And the paragraph right below that chart sums it up. The sum of the positive model elements is 4,006,000. The contrast is 4,840,000 in negative elements. So it results in a negative impact of $78,000 to us. So why this is important is because they're going to do specific things that impact us in different ways. You can see the biggest one for us is RCA, which is Regional Cost Adjustment. They're changing that. It impacts us in a positive way. The other positive change is teacher salary. So they do a positive impact to salaries, but we don't feel that it's constitutional or legal. Because what they've done is they've gone to an average, which helps us, but they don't have an adjustment for experience or education, which is written into the law that they have to have. So they're doing away with educational funding for teachers that has been in place for 50 years. Each year of experience you get a bump, you get education, you get a bump. That's been removed from the model, which is a shame. But the biggest impact to us is in class size. So if you go back to page 5, you'll see a chart there that talks about class size. And I know you're going to look at this and say, well, they're not changing very much. They're really not, but the impact is drastic to us. So let me try to explain. We have a prototypical school district. We receive money for our class sizes. We do not hire the number of teachers that the model funds. We hire less. But our class sizes are amazing. The money that we don't use to hire those teachers goes into the difference in teacher salaries. So it allows us to pay more than the model pays. It allows us to add teachers in other locations. For example, it may say in the model you get 14 first grade teachers. Well, we have 12 based on our class size numbers, let's say. That's 2 teacher salaries that we can put elsewhere. And guess where we put them? In K5, we put them in K5. We have music, we have PE, we have media, we have science. These are things not funded in the model. So without that extra class size money, we can't fund those things. So when they talk about changing the model in class sizes, it'll impact us drastically in what we can do. So K5 is a pretty powerful impact. I remember the days when we had one music teacher that split 4 elementaries. That's the model they're talking about, that we have to go back to. That is not a positive thing for us at all. The biggest impact, I believe, is 6-8. In roughly 1990, we went to a middle school philosophy. We added teachers, so there's a PE teacher, actually multiple PE teachers at each school. There's multiple music teachers at each school. There's vocational teachers at each school. This model takes all that away. There is no funding for those positions. We would have to go back to sharing a music teacher between the middle schools, sharing the vocational teachers between the middle schools. Not only does it impact our funding? It impacts the programs we can offer. The easiest to work on would be our 9-12, because all we do is raise class sizes. We wouldn't have to do away with programs. But even that, we have one vocational credit, make sure I get this right, Doug. One vocational credit is required for graduation, and we have how many vocational teachers? 6. They're not funded. Our board and our community provides the model we believe is essential. This change in class sizes will force us in a different direction. We no longer would have surplus funds to create the educational model that we believe is essential. Even though this is a push for us, and it's really a push for all 48 school districts. In other words, we'll give you some for teacher salaries, but we're going to take it away with class sizes. It potentially impacts us significantly. This would require us, if we want to continue to stay competitive with salaries, to reduce staffing. So that's kind of where we are now. It's not good news, but this is earlier than we've had this information earlier than we've ever had it before. So now you can go to our representatives and say, if you do this, this impacts us negatively to the tune of such and such. It will impact our middle school program. It will impact those things that I think our community just seem are standard. Music every day, PE. So we're going to have to, I think, be a little louder this time. There is another recalibration meeting next week. John will go. And David could tell you how he felt about the meeting with our representatives. We only covered about 4 areas. We covered the class size, we covered insurance, which you notice insurance isn't even on here. But the recommendation from the committee was go to the state's insurance, which will have a significant impact on what we do and how we do it. So Dave, what was your kind of thoughts?
I'm gonna lead off with this. There was an email that came out that there is a meeting with our local representatives that is going to be in Lyman on Monday, the 19th at 6:30. And all I can say is please, please attend. You need to be there. There's some other factors that were out there that Ryan didn't hit that is kind of scary. The vote might happen in April, and in April is when we renew contracts, and there might not be a lot of time for us to adjust accordingly to whatever that legislative body decides to do. The thing that would be best for us is if they were to kick the can down the road, per se, for about a year and wait for the Supreme Court's decision and ruling on things, and then maybe a year from this year, make adjustments at that point, and then just kind of keep it as is. If they go into this recalibration, what they're doing, there is several districts, we're one of them that is included, that is going to take some significant hits. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it if they pass this, the way it currently sits.
We have Senator Schuler, who's very supportive and I think listened very well. The other member of the committee, which is a representative of Uintah County because he covers Bear River, that I think all along, we met months ago with this same group, and he flat out told us he's going to give us some, then he's going to take some away. Well, I understand that, but don't take it away where we're forced to change what we do in K-12. And at the same time, the message from the courts was you need to make this cost-based. It's not cost-based if you give us an increase and make us cut to get to that increase. So it is important, I would say probably more than ever when the legislative session starts and these bills start going forward, especially this one. This is always, the budget bill is always the last one to go through. We make sure that we talk about these certain areas. The challenge that I think is out there, and I do think they did this on purpose, is if you look at the RCA, that's a positive thing for us. It's an extremely negative thing for other school districts. So we get a $2 million hit, which, hey, that's great. but 24 out of the 48 school districts take a significant hit with that. So it's not so great. So how are you gonna put district against district? I think class size hurts everybody. The ADM, the 3-year rolling average, hurts everyone, except for 4 school districts that are growing. 4 out of 48 would have more students than they did last year. We're down another 25 kids already. So
Yeah, the rolling ADM was the other thing we
that
just talked
rolling
about, because they
ADM.
just want to go to 1 year at this point.
Yeah. So those are things that significantly impact us. Not the result, I think, from the lawsuit. We'll have to wait for the ruling of the Supreme Court. And even then, if you've read the newspaper, Wyoming State Daily, the governor comes out and says I thought he did a great job, every state employee needs an increase based on these factors. And then comes out of the committee, and the committee members said, no, we're not going to do that. So the governor doesn't have any weight with the legislators. Hopefully, maybe the judicial system might. But
So one other thing that I wanted to point out just a little bit, and it's kind of interesting, when we were in that meeting, one thing that was brought up, this is the first time in the history of the state of Wyoming that we made more money off of interest and our savings with our rainy day account at $25 billion than we've made in revenue.
Jeez. So you're saying they've got money?
And I was told they're putting $400 million into the rainy day account this year.
So, we talk about, and John's had this for a while, and again, hats off to John, this is so well done. This is specifically for us. I think every district is going to follow suit and do one specifically for them. The WDE just sent out a document that is specific for the state, and just as this reflects on us, statewide, it's a 0.88% increase in funding. That's what the good things they've done to us, 0.88% overall in everyone in the state. So everyone's taking a hit somewhere. So I think the message for us and for you is, this is probably earlier than we've ever really kind of talked about the skies falling, but you have to have confidence in the process we follow, and confidence that the last thing we'll do is impact classrooms. We'll have to make changes elsewhere, but at some point, if this continues on more than a year, in order to keep our staff competitive, we'll have to reduce staff. So a lot of challenges ahead. I think the message, and we shared it with the principals, is be ready to tell your staff is you better communicate, not with our 2 legislators, they need to communicate with all of them from Southwest Wyoming, because they were all there. We had, I think, 9, 8, not all of them weren't there, you're right. We had 1 of our representatives there, out of 2. But we're just going to have to keep working, that they're educated. Senator Schuler made a request, her request, and you can go back and look under section 2, about interest income. I'm pretty sure she had no idea the negative impact that would have in our district, and she's not supportive of it now, since she's seen the negative impact. That hurts us to about $450,000. And we're a relatively small district. Imagine how that impacts the districts that have millions and millions. We have 6 million in reserve, 4.5 to 6 in reserve. But the districts that have lots of money, that impact is significant because they've lost the ability to use that interest. So.
No, and then the other thing you brought up just a little bit, just try to maybe revisit, is the insurance side of things, of how they're trying to push us into the state insurance plan and take kind of the control away from the districts themselves on the policies and plans that they want, so.
The state's plan requires certain things that would be in direct conflict with our board-approved policies, dealing with benefits provided to hourly employees. There may be some improvement, but there will be additional costs. And that's the part they don't realize, is there's 1 school district that uses the state plan. We've had the opportunity to go to the state plan multiple times. We've chosen not to because it is not beneficial to our employees. We lose that option if the state passes a law that we go to that. And we'd have to make significant changes. Will it still be insurance? Yeah. Will it still be quality insurance? I think so, but not, they've taken our decision-making right out of it. Will we still be able to use doctors along the Wasatch Front? I believe so, but I think there'll be some additional expenses to that. So when you ask them flat out, if the model's supposed to be cost-based, why don't you just support us in our current programs, in our current health programs? We're not giving away the farm. We're trying to provide quality insurance to our employees. When asked, how is it possible that the state's plan has received a 0 increase in the last 5 years, each of the last 5 years, when national trend is above 10%, they cannot answer it because it can't be done. They've manipulated the numbers somehow. There's, like I said, national trend has been pretty clear, and you can track that night and day, but 0% increase because that's what they've used to fund our healthcare program. So we've received nothing in 5 years in a row from the state for additional healthcare. And our numbers, you guys know our numbers. So anyway, want you to be aware of this. You have a copy of it. I'd go through it, ask a lot of questions as we move forward. I'll be as active as I ever have been with our legislators. I've tried to set up a meeting with the representative that missed this opportunity, and I have not heard back yet. So I'm going to keep trying, make sure John and I can sit down with him. John, do you have anything else you want to add to what's been done?
Well, first off, there will be, we think, by the end of the week, legislative draft legislation. So that will get at least the things on the playing board. We'll know one of the big issues is when is the implementation date? Because when we get the model at the end of March, and a lot of decisions need to be in play. So yeah, it's. I think that if we take the meeting that we had, I know that there were some representatives and legislators that had some turned ideas, but there's also some that are kind of very entrenched in their ways. So
I think the most interesting part for me was at the end, the legislators had a chance to say a few things, and 2 things stuck out. So the first one was chairman of this recalibration committee, Heiner, said that his goal was to get us competitive with our adjoining states. So if you look on John's chart on page 9, you can see kind of the brown line at 15. That's with these proposed changes where we sit. We're 15th from the bottom in the state of Utah. If you look at the lighter brown, number 7, that's where we currently are in the state of Utah. So is it an improvement? Yeah. Does it make us competitive? No. Kind of a fallacy, and we can show them that it's not competitive. But yet, they just continue to say, same thing probably to the governor. Nope, we're not going to do that. The other thing is one of the representatives made it pretty clear by saying that we need to prevent districts from willy-nilly entering into legal battles with the state. We did not enter into our legal battle willy-nilly. 10 years of trying to work with the legislators to do what they were supposed to do, and when they refused in 2002, our board took the appropriate action and sued the state. Again, puts us in a little better position than maybe the governor and state employees, but only until we get the ruling from the Supreme Court. So that's really all I had, unless there are additional questions.
So on page 9, that center column shows Park City School District. Does that mean they're paying their teachers $99,000?
That's their average salary.
Their average salary in that district.
Yeah, but
Low
some are making
and
more
high.
than that. Yeah. And,
Wow.
And
We'll go
again,
down to 38, Rich County.
Yeah. 38 is what we patterned our most recent salary schedule at. And I still think, I've said it, no one's corrected me, I think we're the only school district in the state that has a top-out salary for teachers at over $100,000. You have to have a master's degree, and 30 years, 25 years of experience, but it gets there because that's our competition. And that will continue to be our goal. And we're competing with, look at the districts that we're competing with. Rich, Wasatch,
Summit.
which is Heber,
Summit, North
Summit, which is North Summit, they're within 50 miles of us. And we're not competing right now with any of these salaries. And to have a representative say, yeah, we're gonna make you more competitive, but at the same time, we're gonna yank away your class sizes. My final statement to the group was, for years, we've had the most competitive salaries in this region, and we attracted the best and brightest teachers.
Right.
Now we don't. It's also our class sizes that attract teachers,
Right.
because our class sizes are so attractive compared to our neighbors in Utah. Now, they're taking that away, there'll be nothing to attract teachers and to retain teachers. They'll have 35 kids in their kindergarten classroom, just like Utah. So, it's just a shame, and one we need to make sure we point out.
So let me ask you this question, as a board, how will we know what to convey to our representatives? Because a lot of us know that.
This
I
is a
know, but-
great start.
But is there a bill out there that we need to be pushing down the road?
Not yet, that's
Not
what
yet.
John's talking
Okay.
about. That will come
But
out
we will have
this
that.
week, yes.
Okay, if you
It'll be,
let us know.
what it will be is it'll be the budget bill.
Okay,
And there'll be these 13 components.
so this
I'm
is a
afraid
budget
plus others.
session, right?
What's that?
Budget session, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But that budget bill will be the last thing they get to.
But it's
And-
specific to schools?
Yes.
So it doesn't go before that school committee?
It does. Education Committee, both
Right.
Senate and House will look at it.
In appropriation.
And appropriations. So there's a lot to happen before this makes itself a law. A lot of back and forth, a lot of discussion. And as I said before, is they have never, ever passed the recalibration model from the consultants. They've never been able to since 2010, which you're paying these consultants, they make a recommendation and you don't follow it. They go with what they call the legislative model, which is typically much less than the consultants are advising. This one is unique. Very first thing that came out of Chairman Heiner's mouth was, we want everything from the PICUS recalibration model. They've never done that before. So this is everything that the consultants are suggesting, and then they added to it. That last 10 minutes of that meeting, last recalibration meeting.
Are any of the representatives that have been talking with on the education committee?
Yes, Senator Schuler.
The only one?
She's chairman of the Senate.
Out of, how many are on the committee? 10?
14.
Folks, 14?
I think they said there was 14.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 or 12, but probably is 14.
It
How
said
many show
14
up?
in there. Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just,
So, Ryan, is the state hurting for money?
No.
Well, then why are they fighting? I don't understand the
They're
side.
punishing us.
Punishing who, though? They're punishing
For
their
the
own
lawsuit.
kids.
Punishing the kids. No, and if you ask me my opinion, which I think you're asking, is it's a function of the majority in both House and Senate now want less taxes going to anything in the state. Everything's less taxes. And less funding. That's why they just flat out said no to the governor. No, we're not gonna put 111 million into our own employees. It just makes no sense to me. We have the funds.
Yeah.
Even
I
though
do
they're
think-
underpaid as well.
Yes, I do think they hurt themselves with the property tax reductions. I think they took action before they realized what it's going to do down the road. I heard $750 million deficit in 3 years. So that's 2 more years now. And it's hurting communities. We're fortunate enough, I think we're kind of big enough that we're okay, but these small communities are losing ambulance services, for example. So now ambulance service is 90 miles away because property taxes will reduce the way they are. We have an entitlement, which they're gonna have to find a way without property taxes to fund us. This is how they're doing it. They're reducing our entitlement. It goes from roughly 40 million to 38 million. That's what you can see on these charts. So why are they doing it? I think some of it's just mean-spirited, but more or less, I think it's the philosophy in our House and Senate. Spend less, spend less, spend less.
projects.
So, anyway, that's my opinion.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
well, I just wanted to just please, if you have the opportunity, go Monday, the 19th at 6:30 over in Lyman and attend the meeting.
So will be Senator Schuler and Senator Heiner and probably
Maybe
others,
Webb.
I think, but it'll be interesting how they do that, because it took us 2.5 hours to talk about four of these points, and they're gonna give it an hour. So,
Mr. Williams, excellent, thank you.
as always.
Yep, as always, thank you.
And I actually got emails from 2 superintendents that said, wow, that's quite a document, and they'll copy it too.
Yep.
They'll do their own, so.
Yep.
Should we contact them and tell them how awful John is?
Yeah, you know why.
His personality. He doesn't play well with others.
It's his looks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, well, that was fun. We will move on to our next discussion item, the district calendar. Mr. Thomas.
I'm gonna come back up. Chairman Peterson, members of the board, this is the calendar that we actually approved last year, which will come up here in a second, hopefully. Oh, that's not the calendar. Box amongst yourself. So if you recall, last year's calendar that you approved, last year you approved the calendar for the 26-27 school year. And if you remember when you approved it, it was a year out, and I said there's some issues with the calendar. The reason why there's issues is truly Memorial Day. Memorial Day in 2027 is on the 31st of May, which is after our graduation. That's only a problem because the last Monday of the school year, we now are in school. Before we weren't, so we have an extra day in the calendar, which sounds like a good problem. But if you want to start on a Monday and end on a Friday, that's a bad problem. So I have a recommendation to solve that problem. Well, we're breathing. So what I propose is this, I'm just going to cut to the proposal, is, and I ran this by the administrators and they're in support, is that we don't start on a Monday, we start on a Wednesday. So this is the actual calendar. So we start on Wednesday, the 26th, and then everything else is roughly the same as it's been forever. We end on a Friday, the 28th. Graduation of Horizons is on the 28th, graduation of high school is on the 29th. One difference is we do not have a comp day in March. If you recall, the wisdom behind the comp day in March is that usually the second Friday in March was the highest missed day in the school year because it aligned with state basketball, state cheer, and state dance. Well, that doesn't impact us anymore because state cheer and state dance have been moved off of that. They do it at a separate time, the end of January. And since we've done that, our boys and girls teams have not qualified for state together. We've had one or the other qualify, but, so it hasn't held true. The comp tie, I think comp time would be better served at the beginning of the school year. We don't start on a Monday. Monday is a delayed start. What happens in the younger grades is they go at a certain time, the very next day they go at a different time. This allows them to get a little under their feet before they have a different calendar on that Monday. We'd adjust the staff development days and again, it works out pretty consistently. The 27-28 school year, which we'll also approve next month, is exactly the same as this. And I can show you that, I think. So again, you start on a Wednesday, we end on a Friday, the 26th. And that Monday, again, is Memorial Day after we've graduated. What's nice about that and why we're ending on a Friday is that allows parents to travel for graduation. Now they have the long weekend they can take. So we did look at calendars that ended on a Wednesday, started on a Monday. Again, the administrators felt this calendar was better. We looked at a calendar that took those 2 extra days and added additional time for Thanksgiving break. Again, they felt that it was better to put those comp days at the beginning of the school year before school starts. Best weather in Wyoming is in August, so that delays the start of our
I
school
don't
year.
know about this year, though.
No, everything's a little different this year. We don't follow any pattern.
Snow this August.
So that's my
Yeah, it will
recommendation. You guys realize with the calendar, you can do a million different things as long as you have 175 contact days for kids
Right.
pinched somewhere in that calendar, and you have 185 contract days for staff. Within that, you have a lot of flexibility, but we've chosen to see this as an instructional tool. We take a traditional 2 weeks at Christmas, a week at spring break. We have 3 days at Thanksgiving. We have 2 days at autumn break, which is hunting vacation. Pretty traditional, pretty consistent, and I think it's served us well. And so this is, like I said, my recommendation is we go with this start time and this end date, which is really what the board sets in the calendar. Oh. Thank you. Yeah, I'll really confuse you if I give you another story. That's not my intent.
So Ryan, if we take away that March day, where do we make up a snow day if we happen to need one?
Same as we've actually, I think, have a better structure now. We can do it virtually. So we're working on that now. So if we have a snow day between now and the end of the school year, we'll make it up virtually. And the state allows us to do that, K-12.
Yeah.
So we won't have to come back for another day. There's still inclement weather days built into the calendar, but can you imagine trying to come back in June
Yeah.
after Memorial Day? It's just not an effective way to do it. So now we can just make sure the structure's in place, students can get online, get their assignment. Ringing into that assignment will give them credit for the day. So pretty straightforward. Pretty nice way. We'd probably do a delayed start first, and if we can't go, then we cancel. The last thing we try to do is cancel a day of school. Our job is to keep schools open. So that's how that would work. But there still is inclement weather built in out there. They're not very effective days. We still have Martin Luther King Day as kind of flexibility right now. It's not a student day. That's a half staff development day, half comp day for our teachers. But that still sits in the calendar. We probably would never go on President's Day, which is the 15th of February. You could, I wouldn't suggest it, to make up a sick day. You could even go on spring break, but again, I wouldn't suggest that either. I'd probably, if we can do it virtually, let's do it virtually.
Yes.
We're gonna try that. I've already talked to Scott, and I think he's okay with this, is if you remember, in April, we do, maybe it's May, the senior projects. And so the seniors come, everyone else gets the day off. But we're gonna do virtual for the day off. You still have to sign into your teachers' classrooms, do your work, and you get credit for the day. So we're just not giving them a free day off. Sorry. What do you think of the calendars, by the way?
Looks good to me.
There you go.
Thank you.
I like starting on a Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Our principals are pretty excited about that. I was surprised. And what that does, that moves up even the contract days for new employees. Gives them an additional week. And then we can not squeeze it in, but we'll have that 17th through the 22nd as staff development, and also the 24th and 25th we can bring our teachers in. So I think it works out well. So this is what I'll recommend that you approve next month. Hopefully, you can see that this is a 5-day-a-week schedule, both years. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you. Good.
I'm up next anyway.
You are up next anyway.
Yeah.
All-state music for 27.
That's actually built into the calendar, and now it's going to be better. We've agreed, and I hope you guys are okay with this, to have all-state music at our high school. This is every musician in the state of Wyoming. It's a huge event. To pull it off, it's over Martin Luther King. We don't have school that day for students. And Tuesday is when they have their performances, so we couldn't have school at the high school on Tuesday. And now that we're going to go virtual, we'll just have a virtual day, and so the kids will do that virtually. Our teachers run it, so the teachers need some time, so it helps them and that, our music teachers. And it's a really great event for our community. You can just imagine how many kids come to our community.
How many would you expect?
It's hundreds, I don't even know for sure.
Are there accommodations?
They struggle, but we've done it twice in the past that I'm.
So they have to make reservations a year out or something?
Yeah.
The most challenging thing is actually places to eat, because our places fold up pretty early, and some of these events go a little later. But, and I'm sure our music professionals and Mr. O'Neill will talk to the local providers and see if we can get some of these places opened up a little more.
It'll be all at the high school?
All at the high school.
So is there a fee associated with?
I don't think so.
Or we just?
And you guys are good because you have an all-state pass anyway.
Yeah.
So you would be free admission.
So with that being said, that Tuesday is just going to be the high school that's going to be virtual, and then the rest of the classes, schools.
What
will
we've
be
done in the
virtual.
past is just not have school that day, and it's worked out. But now, let's do it virtual. And I just think that's a smart way to go. So that was part of it. When you approve the calendar, you approve that Tuesday, I think it's 2028, or is it 2027?
It's 27.
27, yeah.
Okay.
And we do that next month.
No. Oh, yeah, you approve it next
We'll
month. Yes.
approve it next month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, sounds great. Nice.
Okay, you want me to keep going?
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
lifetime of service stipend.
The lifetime of service stipend, we plan to offer it again. How it works is, if you recall, I think in 2016, the board approved this stipend. It rewards employees that have spent their career in Evanston. So it provides $100 a year for each year they've worked, and then it increases their sick leave payout, and it can go into a health retirement account, health savings account that the district pays for. It's just a nice thing to do for our retiring individuals. So we will get that out tomorrow. The deadline is February 28th, 27th, I think, this year. They will bring that to the board, the first board meeting in March. Once you approve it, they still have 3 days to withdraw their retirement if they choose. The qualifications for this is at least 20 years of service in our community, and they've qualified for retirement. So either they've hit the rule of 85 or they're 60-year-old. It's been a great plan. If you recall, typically we budget for 5 support staff and 5 certified staff. This year, I think you may get more than that. The board determines if there's a cutoff point or if you reward all of those. That's up to you. We discussed that.
So your expectation is more than 10
Yes.
folks will retire?
Yeah.
Well, that's-
Okay, I'll put that forward. Like I said, you guys get final approval on the board meeting in March.
Okay.
The next one is plan to provide early notice stipend. Bottom line is, I put out tomorrow, if someone notifies us that they're going to resign or retire at the end of the contract year, we provide them a $500 incentive to let us know that, so we can start either finding a replacement or reducing through attrition. We usually get about 10 individuals that notify us that they're leaving at the end of the contract year. It's not enough money to encourage someone to retire early, but it is a nice thing to do to get the message out already. We do most of our hiring in March, so that's timely for us. And the budget session. No, who's not potentially going to do it. Any questions about that?
No.
Moving on. The Wyoming School Board's Legislative Forum, what's the dates of those, Sherry?
22nd and 23rd.
22nd, 23rd of February. We've always, I think, sent somebody. There's been a couple years when we couldn't make it because of weather. And we'll send another vehicle if you're interested. So think about it. You'd probably let us know by the next board meeting, or earlier than that, probably.
Registration is open. So
Yeah. So if you plan
When does
to
it
attend.
close?
What's that?
Registration's
Is
open till, okay,
So
open
what they
now.
do at the forum is you actually meet with Brian Farmer, and they review all of the pending legislation and where it's at. We always set up a dinner with our local representative and senator. We take him out to dinner and talk about the legislation. It's a long way to go, but if you've never been to the Capitol, we go to the Capitol on Monday, and you can actually meet with our legislators. It's really, really cool. So a neat opportunity. They have a meet and greet with all of the legislators are invited, and this year could be quite an interesting year, depending on if you know who is not supporting education, blah, blah, blah. But it's a chance to do some lobbying. So if you want to attend, we usually get the rooms at Little America. May have to switch if we don't get them early enough. That's where the forum is actually at Little America.
Little America, yeah.
So let us know. Let Sherry know or let me know. That's all I had about that.
Okay. The last of our discussion items. Unless you have something else you want to share.
Nope. Taking enough of your time already. Yeah.
All right, we will open it up to public comments. Huh. I'll give it about 5 more minutes. Next. Okay, we will now move on to our action items. So I need a motion, well, we didn't even do that. We have no resignations or contracts to
We do have a leave of absence request.
Oh, we didn't
There
discuss
should be
that
an
in.
attachment in there. I can tell you, I've got it. if you-
Okay.
We have a teacher that's requested a leave of absence. She's actually going to have twins. So she's going to take that school year off. She is a very good teacher, but she is a continuing contract teacher, so when she comes back in a year, if she chooses to come back, she will have a position in the district. She's a math teacher, so we hopefully will still have teaching math then.
Anybody else want to look at that real quick?
Recommend that you approve that leave of absence.
All right.
Motion to approve. Second that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussions? None. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Right.
I need a motion to approve the audit as presented. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the All-State Music calendar, adjustment to the calendar for 2027.
Really what you were approving before is that that day would be without students in the high
Without,
school.
yeah.
But now you're approving that that student will go virtual.
Virtual, yeah,
Yeah.
so. Okay.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the board positions on Region 5 BOCES and BOCES number 1 and Evanston Park and Rec Department. Mr. Thomas.
Any discussions? Who's who, and if you want to continue doing that? So we have them written down because I can never remember them. So,
Wait a minute, wrong paper.
So on the BOCES, Board.
CBARV BOCES is Dan Wheeler. We did get a letter from the director, mayor, that would like to keep Dan. If he would like to, they would love to have him, and so, Dan, you okay with continuing on CBARV board?
Sure.
Okay. EPRB board is, and really who we'd approve is Dan Wheeler and Brian Woodward.
Yeah, I'm good. We're good.
Okay.
Okay. UNA BOCES number 1 is Brian Woodward and Dave Bennett and Dan Wheeler.
I'm good.
Yep.
Good.
Boy, that,
We'll
you guys
stay.
making that easy.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty easy. Unless anybody else would like to serve and vote on it. Any nominees? Any requests? None? So, I need a motion to approve the board positions.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the board positions.
And I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the concealed carry for the employees that were discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
Second that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We will now move on to our roundtable. No comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, just after seeing that presentation from Doug, I'd like to thank the administrators for the hard work that they've done. And it shows, and I talking to different people from different districts, I've had a sister that's taught in Utah, and you don't realize how amazing this district is until you really start comparing it to outside districts. And I hope you don't ever feel underappreciated. You are hugely appreciated for the work that you do, and it is phenomenal. So thank you.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a coherent thought put together yet, but I met with a group of teachers last month who were concerned about some students in our community who are homeless currently, and seems like there's some kids falling through the cracks, and there's not a solution per se at this point, but I guess anybody watching on the video or has resources or has ideas of things to do, I'd welcome being contacted, because I think there's a need.
Well, hopefully those individuals have communicated that with Director Williams, because we do have
We have
McKinney
McKinney-Vento
Vento funds to support kids that are homeless. The biggest challenge is identifying.
Get him to come out.
And there is not a lot of services, but there are things we can do and funds available. Matt Williams, Director Williams, is the overseer of that student service.
Right. So, Dave, I don't know if you'd have any interest. You'll remember back in the summer, we talked about the exchange program between our high school and the high school in Germany. Would there be any interest from the board on having someone come in and address us with an update on that, where it's currently happening?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Okay.
It'd be nice to know where things are heading right now,
Get
so.
on the agenda.
Yep,
Okay, let's see if we can get that on the agenda for next meeting.
okay, that'd be awesome.
I know a guy.
Anything else on the roundtable at all?
I think, Mr. Chairman, as a board, we need to really be aware of this budget session and find out what we can do to support our district, and not just our district, the whole state, as far as where we're coming from. And then we need to get in touch with our people and let them know where we stand, because they do listen. And Heiner's a pretty good guy. Scott is, I know him, and so we've got some good reps, but we have to make our position presented to them.
No, and I agree. I think the superintendents that were in that meeting, they were phenomenal. I think they presented their positions really well. I think they represented the state very well. The only thing that I'm concerned with, and it's moving the peg from those that are so entrenched in their beliefs. Those are the individuals that have the voting power right now, so. But we have to try,
We have to at least know who they are and start
yeah,
presenting ourselves, I think that's another word.
yeah. All right, do I need to modify the agenda because we no longer going into the executive session, so?
Say not needed, I guess.
Not needed,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Is there anything else for the roundtable at all?
I move that we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
And don't leave, I have a bunch of things to sign, but I thought we're gonna be in there, so let me get them right now.
Perfect timing, Jeff. Too late, man, I'm done.
Nice timing.
Yeah, where's the ice cream?
Nice timing.
He's not even paying attention.
Yeah.